Hey, welcome back. George Kilpatrick sitting in for Bob Lonsberry today. A new study released by AARP says that boomers are leaving Onondaga County and taking a lot of money with them. Joining us now is Bill Armbruster, the state director for the New York AARP. You had a big shindig today at the Crown Plaza. What did you talk about?
Well, it was a great discussion. About 2 years ago, in 2012, there was a national study that came out that said that boomers are fleeing New York at a higher rate than any other state in the country. And we decided we wanted to talk to the 50-plus and see what their thoughts were on it. And one of the biggest findings that we saw was 60% of, almost 60% of those people 50-plus in Onondaga County said they're thinking about leaving. So we want to catch them, and we want to retain them, and we want to keep them in Onondaga County so before they take action. So today was really talking about what is it that 50-plus is looking for, what they want in a community, and then starting to have that community dialogue on how we can move forward, both as a community, as a state, to keep people here, plus their money.
All right, well, before we talk about what they love, what do they hate?
Well, the biggest things that came out were looking at property taxes. I mean, that should come as no surprise.
I was going to say taxes, yes.
Yep. Utility bills. New Yorkers pay the second highest utility rates in the country, the highest in the continental United States. And after last year, we had one of the longest, coldest winters on record. They're nervous. You know, people were saying that really cut into their finances, and that that was another big issue. Paying for mortgages, and then just those financial issues that makes them feel secure about being able to stay here.
Well, it's interesting because we spend so much attention on getting those recently graduated from college, a big initiative to keep recent college graduates who come to this area. We have 30 colleges and universities within our radius here, and we spend a lot of time focused on getting those young people to consider staying. And now we have, if you will, we have a sandwich problem, right? Because on the other end, we're trying to keep the boomers from leaving as well.
Well, and that was one of the issues that came up, too, is people want to work. They want to stay and work in their community, and they want to work longer. You know, there's some people, who are worried that they may outlive their money, so they want to work longer. There's people who say, hey, I am going to live longer, so I want to work longer. So making sure that we have those job opportunities across the lifespan, whether you're coming out of college or whether you're, at the later end of your career. Why not work those together? There's so much wisdom and intellect on people who have been in business and in the community and working for so long. I think we really need to look at a balanced approach, make sure that we're having the jobs to retain the younger adults here, but also keeping those that have helped make our community be able to stay as well.
It's interesting because we have this debate every year about reducing the property tax burden but the other issue is access to affordable health care in the area. So you've got those twin issues that we're wrestling with.
And again, that's exactly what we saw. Access to health care, another big issue that folks were looking at that they want to make sure. Affordable housing. This is the big issue. And affordable housing means different things to different people. If you're looking at folks in the middle class, what does affordable housing look like? If you're looking to downsize, I live, in much of our communities, our houses were built some time ago. My house is about 80 years old. I call it a Peter Pan home. My house is designed for people who will never grow old. Bedrooms upstairs, laundry in the basement, 3 steps to get in. And so we also want to have these conversations about really planning on how we're building our housing.
Bill, I guess I'm in the Peter Pan home too. Laundry in the basement, 2 steps to get in. The whole thing.
But that's how they built back then.
Yeah.
So, thinking about this too, my house will probably make a decision for me at some point in my life. Wouldn't it be nice if you decided to downsize or whatever was your choice? Not that, I'm not able to stay in my house anymore. So, looking at how we plan, not only our houses, but our communities.
Yeah.
And the exciting thing, I think, for Onondaga County is the county exec and the mayor last year signed on to have Onondaga and the city of Syracuse start to become what they call an age-friendly community.
And that means what?
doing planning for your community to be a great place to grow up and grow old. So actually doing universal design as a community, looking at the streets, looking at how we transport people back and forth, looking at housing, look at volunteerism, looking at work, looking at culture, all of those types of things. What would make it a great place to grow up and grow old and be engaged? So you don't want to leave your community. You want to stay there and bring others with you.
Talking with Bill Armbruster, he's the director for the New York State AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons. And yes, Bill, I'm in that category, so I'm very interested in this study. All right, so was this a lot of talking heads on the panel, or was there some real good, meaty suggestions on what to do to get young people, get older people, get the 50-plus generation to consider staying in the Qs? I mean, one of the factors we cannot change is the weather. So people who are looking for warmer weather it's not going to be here. So that's not. And was that a big factor in the decision?
Actually, that wasn't something that came up in our discussion today, and that actually, outside of the utility costs, wasn't the factors that we saw across the board. People do want to stay in the community, but there's things that they need. And today was not just talking heads. There was a presentation of what we call the longevity economy. What's the bottom line? If you look at the 50-plus, just in Onondaga County, the income generated is $3.6 billion annually. And that's money that's spent in the community. It is, money from jobs, money from pensions, money from Social Security that people buy their groceries with, purchase their gas with, go to restaurants, their dry cleaning. How much of that, if the people who say they're thinking about leaving leave, that's almost $2 billion worth of annual income that could potentially leave Central New York. And that's what we want to say. How do we keep folks here? And it was half presentation of the longevity economy in talking about the survey findings, but then it was really a good dialogue about coming together. And I think we brought unique folks together. There were a lot of folks that never even met each other from Central New York, bringing financial planners together with community planners, bringing community leaders together, people that are working on, older worker issues, as well as, even the school districts, coming together with their own perspectives on what it takes. So we're going to hopefully be continuing this dialogue, taking some of these actions and seeing what we can implement and continue to move forward.
I know my good buddy Chucky Holstein, I know she was in the room, and I know she was a part of that conversation, and I know part of what she's hoping to have happen is a sustainable community with some of the vision that Focus has started talking about some years ago. So
yeah, and I agree. Chucky has been an amazing leader in Central New York. I've been very lucky to have her and her leadership. She's actually been one of the impetus for moving Erie County, Syracuse forward on the age-friendly initiative. So having champions like that ready to stand up and take action is phenomenal.
Bill, I don't know how to say this, but I think it's very nice. I think it's great that the 50-plus, that there is even some consideration, because if you think about it from an advertising and from a business perspective, all you hear is 18 plus, 18 to 49. And, 50 plus is sort of like, yeah, well, whatever. So I kind of like the fact that there is at least some initiative to look at this particular market segment as a winnable segment for this community, and one that whose efforts to retain those efforts, to retain this segment of the community could be a good thing if we can make all of those things work. It's a large order, it's a tall order, but like you said, age-friendly community is a good thing.
Yeah, and people are looking to come forward to that. I think exactly what you just talked about came up today, really. No one is marketing to this population. And we also need to change the perception of aging. There's people who just think you get older and you're costly. The reality is people are living longer, but they're having a longer middle age. So they are active, engaged, working, more involved in the community for a much longer time than they've ever been in the history. And how do we maximize that?
We're living longer, and we're doing more things to stay ahead of it. Well, listen, the study is AARP.org. It's about what's happening here in Onondaga County, and there's some initiatives underway to make sure that we retain the boomers. We'll ask you what you think as well. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it.
Have a great evening.
Bill Armbruster is the state director for the New York AARP.